special. And first I want to thank Archaea Entertainment and Boom Studios for making this happen. And after this panel, if you're at this panel, you're gonna want to go to the Boom Studios Archaea Entertainment booth to see some more magic. But they brought us Alyssa Milano. Oh my God! I know, it's insane. So, I mean, we've grown up with her, and she's a huge pillar in our community for Los Angeles. And as you know, Stanley's Comikaze is for this city. We are Los Angeles. You guys are LA. You guys are Comikaze. So, this is a panel for Alyssa's upcoming comic book Hacktivist, which is going to be released in January. So why don't I, instead of me just be talking up here, you guys don't want to see me, let's have Alyssa Milano and the Boom Studios Archaea team come up. Give a big Comikaze louder, guys! Thank you.
Baby.
Hello. Thanks for coming.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Hacktivist panel. My name is Rebecca Taylor. I'm the editor of Hacktivist with Archaea and Boom Studios. I'm going to be moderating today. But I want to kick off by welcoming our lovely guests, starting with the creator of Hacktivist, the lovely Alyssa Milano. Let's give her a hand.
Thank you.
We also today have two writers of Hacktivist, Jackson Lanzing on the end, and Collin. Let's give them a hand as well. All right, so let's start this out. Now, Alyssa, you came to us with an amazing idea for this revolutionary comic that we're doing. How did you come up with the idea? How did you get involved with this?
The idea was sort of an evolution of a thought process, I guess. I love Twitter a lot. And I was sort of impressed by how social media was almost a tool for the uprisings that we were seeing throughout the world, and how social media was becoming this effective organizing tool to get everyone together and sort of fight for what they believe. And then I hear my baby calling Mama. Hi, buddy. Don't cry. It's okay.
Aww.
What? Too loud? Turn.
He
said it's his turn.
Bring him out.
And then I sort of got very interested in what Anonymous was doing with hacking. And I thought, how this group of hackers throughout the world were becoming hacktivists and really affecting positive change by using their skills and doing, pretty incredible things. And then that thought sort of progressed to, what if all of Anonymous was really just one guy who was using the group of Anonymous as sort of a front? And who would that guy be? And I see a guy with an Anonymous mask back there staring at me. Hello. They're everywhere. Who would that guy be, and what skills would he need to actually, implement this kind of change? And obviously he would need some sort of programming skills, but also need to have an incredibly compassionate heart and be philanthropic. So the only person I could think of with those skills and that kind of personality was Jack Dorsey, who is also my son's godfather, who I know very well. He's a dear friend. And so I kind of became obsessed with the idea that Jack was actually all of Anonymous and started Twitter basically to affect positive change in the world and use his social media platform to change the world. So that's kind of how the idea started. I brought it to Archaea, who pretty much got it right from the get-go and believed in it. And I took no other meetings, and we just decided to go for it. And then Tay actually was responsible for bringing me these two brilliant writers sitting to my left. And it's really been a passion project, I think, for all of us.
Now you're talking about how you're super active on social media. We know you have a crazy amount of Twitter followers. And I saw, and some of you might have saw, something crazy was going on your Twitter yesterday.
Yeah, did you guys see my Twitter account was hacked yesterday? Did anyone see that? Okay, well I'm just gonna let you guys in on a secret, and you guys can carry this with you and maybe spread the word for us. But I was actually posting all of those tweets, so my Twitter account wasn't really hacked. And if you look back at the tweets, there's I think 9 or 10 of them. There's actual code in there that if you click on the last link, it'll take you to a page where if you put in the code that you learned from the tweets, it opens up a secret page. So you guys could all try that when you get home and spread the word. But it's funny because Twitter actually shut down my account. They blocked me out because they thought I was hacked, which I loved. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. But yeah, we've been having a lot of fun with ways to promote that are interesting.
And on that site, if you guys want, there's a 12-page preview of the first issue, so you should definitely try and hack the code. It's pretty cool. So, if you go onto your Twitter feed, you are constantly sharing news about the tech industry, about all different kinds of new things that are going on. I know you talk about how social media is kind of thing that got you in, but how did you really get that involved with all these new programs that are coming out and sharing that news, and how did that become part of?
Well, I mean, this is sort of my mom actually, who's here somewhere, started a website company, a digital company about 20 years ago, before the internet was really huge. So she really taught me a lot about sort of the tech industry. I just think technology is amazing because not only, for all the obvious reasons, but A, we can't live without it anymore. And B, it's almost the people that are coding and programmers, that they're almost the artists of our generation. And I find that to be really intriguing and cool.
Now, you've obviously spent a large part of your professional career in the television and film storytelling mediums. Why did you feel that Hacktivist and this passion project was right for graphic novels?
I wanted to really have anything go. And so often when you pitch ideas to television and film studios, there's always a million reasons of why things can't be done. And why things shouldn't be done. And I just didn't want to come up against those people who would give me a list of reasons why this shouldn't be done. And I felt like doing a graphic novel was a way to really accomplish the story, but also make it something that was super, super visual, because I do think that's what's really intriguing to me about storytelling is giving it a visual. And I think this was the perfect place for at least it to start. I think everyone thinks that it could potentially be a great series or a movie, but I wanted really to do it here first and have it really be our voice and our vision, rather than just selling it to a studio who's going to try to change it and mold it into a very mainstream thing.
Now, Jack and Collin, you guys came on after Alyssa had brought us the idea. When she was coming to you guys with the idea and telling you about her world and about her vision, what was it about this story and this world and these characters that really excited you guys and made you want to come on board?
Once Alyssa kind of started to talk to us about this concept, we really took to it immediately. Jack and I are both very in touch with not only Twitter and the kind of the digital forefront of news and information, but what we love are character stories. And when we sat down with Alyssa, what we realized was that what she had was this fascinating character study, almost a modern superhero. He's not putting on a cape, he's not putting on a mask, but at the same time, he's saving the world every way he can. But what we really looked at was not just one, like a Jack Dorsey type, but maybe taking that character and splitting him into the two kind of halves of that personality. The one that thrives on the social networking, the social elements of that passion, and the other that sees the potential in a digital future and what can be done.
And what that ended up doing was taking that single character that had sort of come in as like the Hacktivist, right, and turned it into two. We have two Hacktivists, essentially, which is why the book is just called Hacktivist. And what we ended up doing was looking at those guys, one's named Ed, one is named Nate, and looked at, you know, what if you had two guys who were running the largest social media company in the world, guys who could put Facebook out of business, the guys who mastered the idea of decentralized social networking. And what if they took that, that being social networking that doesn't hold all your data, that doesn't do a whole NSA spy deal on it, but rather allows you to hold that data discreetly. And what if they were using all of that data in secret, the two of them, towards much more philanthropic and much more world-changing ends than allowing you and I to share pictures and share statuses and, you know, brag about our dinners. And that became, I think, a really exciting opportunity for us, because as we looked around at the real world, everything that we would write in an outline, we'd wait a month and it would come true. We'd be talking about NSA leaks and all of a sudden Edward Snowden was out there and it was happening. We'd be looking at the Green Revolution and we'd be saying, well, this is a revolution that now is enabled by Twitter. We started doing research into Tunisia, where a lot of the book take place, and we started seeing graffiti there and in Egypt that would say, "Thank you, Facebook.
Thank you, Twitter."
And to say, like, all right, now these are tools that you and I look at as like innocuous tools, as things that you and I can use to be social. But these people look at them as life-changing elements. These are lifelines for freedom all around the world. So for us, as Collin points out, it was essentially a modern-day superhero that could happen right now. This isn't a science fiction book. It's a now book.
And also, just in splitting those characters, I think Jack and I, having worked for so many years together, there's a certain element of two conflicting personalities clashing until you find the best idea. So.
Well, I think it's worth pointing out, you know, Alyssa, and I think this is the other thing I think that excited us about this. You're saying you didn't want to take this through the Hollywood system and let them tell you it couldn't be done. Collin and I come from screenwriting. We're screenwriters. This is our first comic together. I've done some work in comics with a guy named David Server. That's how we met Tay. That's how we sort of came in here. But Collin and I have been behind-the-scenes screenwriting guys who, you know, you've never seen anything we've written. We've written a lot of stuff that hasn't gotten made. And that's because you fight the system every day that you're writing. You fight the system to try and get great ideas through a system that wants to play it safe. And when they brought us onto this book, they said you don't have to do that. You can be intellectual, you can be interesting, you can push the characters, and you can do daring things. And Alyssa's willingness to tell that story with us has been one of the greatest experiences, you know, we've had as writers.
Now you talked about how, you know, a lot of this book takes place, you know, in Tunisia. It's a very, not only is it big in the tech sphere, but it's also a very global book, because these things are global revolutions that are happening. What kind of research did all three of you do in terms of not only learning about all that kind of tech stuff, but also about all the things that were happening around the world?
Fortunately, Alyssa did all of our research for us. You want to tell that story?
Maybe you should tell that story.
That was really creepy. When I found out I was doing this book, I came into my office and everything was gone off my desk except for a black folder. And inside the black folder was like files of all this research done on hacking. I had no idea how it got there, and I found out 3 days later that Alyssa had come in and put it on my desk. It was super creepy. She did the same thing to you guys.
A few days after our first meeting, we come in and there's a guy knocks on our door, and I'm like, what the? Like, a package? And I'm like, a package? Like, oh boy, a package. And I open it up and I pull out this thick, massive, fat leather, like, folio, and I'm like, okay, this just got really weird. And he got one too, and we opened these things up, and it's just reams and reams of every single article from every single newspaper, periodical published in the last 10, 15 years on this stuff. It's like...
I was a little obsessed.
But what it did was it forced us to, like, know our stuff, because the next time we sat down, we better have read those packets, and we better have known everything that was in there, because you know she had.
But I also think this, because we're not dealing with supernatural, because we're not dealing with magic powers or anything like that, we had to get the information correct. This is all possible right now. This is all, so, you know, I think we all felt very responsible to tell this story in the most factual way humanly possible.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I have a hacker friend who I will not name right now. He might be here actually somewhere. But you know, I put them in touch with him, and they had a great conversation with him, and he read through it, and he was sort of a technical advisor for us.
And
you guys
really
talk
forced
about what he brought to. He was a great asset for us, and I know he impressed you with his hacking skills on your phone.
Yeah, he hacked into my phone the first time I met him in an office. So that was a contact I wanted to keep. Like, you're good to know.
Yeah, he was a genius. We got on the phone and it's a strange thing, right? Because you write a document like this. This is essentially a 100-page graphic novel, but it's to be split into issues. But we didn't bring it to a tech advisor really until the first draft of the script was done, until we had already made sure that all of our character stuff and our plot stuff was intertwined properly, and then we were going to hand it to the advisor and say, okay, tear this apart, tell us that this doesn't work.
Because we had, we'd taken that giant document. That was really like, that was hacking 101. That was computer science 101.
Yeah.
Now that we had a primer, we were able to take our own, kind of self-guide our own research, start reading a lot of white papers coming out of Google, coming out of Silicon Valley, kind of seeing what was really the forefront of the computer science field. But even then, we're writers. We are not genius hackers. So we needed that kind of umami.
And what they did, again, this was really interesting, was he got on the phone with us and just started spouting terms. It was like, well, this hash, like, the way you would deal with this with hashing is not at all how you're representing it. And you gotta understand that all of this, like, firewall nonsense you're playing with, it makes you guys sound like that 80s movie, like Hackers. Like, this is not how this works at all. And here's how all of this would work. And to do this, you have to be inspiring to hackers. You have to really look and be futurists. I was like, okay, so we have to step up our game. And he really helped us figure that out. That pushed us back into the research, that pushed us back into the world of hackers. And I think by the time we ended up here, hopefully people who actually know about this stuff will be able to read the book and not have that experience that I think you have when that happens, of reading this thing and going, oh, these guys don't know what's up.
At no point while our characters hack the planet or like surf through the internet. Part of Alyssa and Tay's real focus was with this book was taking hacking and not having it be two people sitting at a computer doing this as fast as they can. Like, God, how boring is that? So rather, what we like to do is, sure, you get a panel, we get the idea someone somewhere is typing. But what we're going to show you is the results.
Yeah, this is very, very important, I think. The only way to make hacking visual is to show what it does, not how you do it. So when we got into this, we realized, and you can see this in the ash can. That's I think it's sold out now, but it was available at the Archaea booth.
Maybe you can see it again if you hack Alyssa's Twitter.
This is true. The first 6 pages of the book, we show a couple of guys hacking, but you're going to see probably 3/4 of that takes place in Tunisia, on the ground with the people who this is affecting, not the people who are sitting in the room who are in fact our main characters. And that was really important.
Yeah. So, we have you guys here, and that's wonderful. We're also missing 3 members of our creative team who are not here today because they are drawing the book.